Well, I think the first step is basically just to know that it's a reflection of you. So I'm not saying that there's not people out there to take advantage of you, but more often than not, that's the rarity. And how can you look inside yourself to say there's work to be done? Once you know that there is work to be done, there's the mindset part and the actual like tactical things, right? So things like building a system and processes. And when someone gets hired, make sure that you are hiring them with like great questions. That's not like what can you produce, but like tell me your mindset about this. It starts from the moment that you start to vet. And there's people out there you can hire for hiring projects, right? And then once they are on there, giving them a clear path to what does your first week look like? What does your first 30 days look like? And your first 60 days? And you might not need 60 days outlined, but for me, what I did after my burnout was I realized I had really no systems. And I don't think you're surprised because I think people reach that level when they're like, they got to rebuild the engine. So that's what I did. I use Notion. I started to put a checklist together for every new hire. Like look at how we show up on Instagram. Like listen to some of my podcast episode. Here are some of my values. Like so having a checklist and onboarding where you're not expecting them to do work for you for like the first 2 weeks maybe and just getting to know the brand that has really changed the way that I approach work. Whereas before I was like, okay, you're here, bye.
Yeah. Dumping and running.
So that is like the tactical thing that you need to do, right? Like the tangible thing, like build systems, just literally whatever you're doing, turn on a Loom video and explain yourself checking your email, for example, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I have an appreciation for systems and SOPs, but if you were to ask me if it's my greatest passion, I love doing it, the answer is a hard no.
Yeah.
I'm much more on the marketing side, the art and science of marketing and branding and messaging. However, what I just heard you say, so I think on the surface, what we're saying is systems and Notion and Loom and this and all that, super valid. But what I hear deeper than that, that does require you, to know thyself, is you had to define what success looks like for someone else.
Mm.
And that is very intentional, right? Because how you show up on Instagram or how you would respond in the DMs or how you would do XYZ as the person who's held every position in your business as a gritty startup, I eat what I hunt entrepreneur. You now have to translate that in a way that another person who does not have your skills and background can understand what success looks like for both of us. That is not natural to do that. We just do. We just move. We go forward. And so to pause and go, what are my values? Fine. But more than that, what is in all the little nuances of the business, what do I deem or how would I define success? And then translating that to somebody else is everything. And it requires knowing thyself.